As we know, President Donald Trump had tested positive for COVID-19. He told us in a tweet at about 1 a.m. in the morning. And so a lot of people are wondering what happened. How did he get coronavirus? Or really, we should say, from where? And we may have an answer to that. It turns out that there was a Rose Garden event that had recently happened where you had Amy Coney Barrett, who was Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee. Well, there was a party there with Hope Hicks, as well as many other people who are now coming down with coronavirus, testing positive. So now one of them, one of the latest, is actually Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee. He revealed that he had tested positive for COVID-19 after a meeting with Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett on Tuesday and a Rose Garden visit on Saturday. So that's really interesting. Now, Lee is, of course, the latest high-profile Republican to reveal a positive diagnosis following Trump's tweet on early Friday. White House aide Hope Hicks and Republican National Committee Chairwoman Romney McDaniel also tested positive for COVID-19. On Saturday, Lee attended this White House Rose Garden event where Trump unveiled Barrett's nomination for Supreme Court. He was not wearing a mask. In fact, very, very few people were wearing masks or social distancing at that event. Now, Barrett tested negative for COVID-19 earlier today, but just because you test negative doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have it. You have to usually do multiple tests, as there is an incubation period of about 2 to 14 days. All right. That said, they're not the only one who was there at this alleged super spreader event. You also had Notre Dame president John Jenkins. So now Jenkins went to that very same Rose Garden event and did not wear a mask. So he just tested positive for COVID-19 as well. Now, who else was at this? And so who else could we see within the coming days that could test positive for COVID-19? Well, you have Senator Mike Lee, who already tested positive, Mike Crapo, Ben Sasse, Thom Tillis, Josh Hawley, Chris Christie, who so far, I believe, has tested negative for that, Mark Meadows, who just gave an interview, by the way, without a mask, on I believe, CNN, Hope Hicks, who already, of course, tested positive, William Barr, the Attorney General of the United States, and others. Now, COVID has an incubation period of about 2 to 14 days, as I mentioned, with an average of 5 days. And as Daniel Arsenault points out, Hope Hicks started showing symptoms on Wednesday, which would be day 5. Now, you can spread the virus 2 days before you start to feel unwell, before you start to be symptomatic. And so the first day that you show symptoms, by the way, you are the most contagious. Where was Hope Hicks on her most contagious day? She was on Air Force One, Marine One, and at a Trump rally. In the 2 days prior, she was also likely infectious, and she was doing debate prep and at the debate without a mask on Tuesday. Worth noting, you don't necessarily know if Hope Hicks is the only spreader. She could have been, or she could have been one of others. We don't know. We just don't know at this point. But it does mean that anyone in contact with Hicks or anyone part of the possible cluster at this event could test positive through October 10th from this event alone. No one, and this is important, nobody who was at that event, which included many Republican senators, is out of the woods. So, at least until October 10th. This is a major issue. And so, who knows how many people are going to test positive for this virus within the coming week. I guess we'll just have to see. It is going to be a very interesting, very tense few days. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.